Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. We're back. It's the 6th of January 2025, so a very happy new year to you. Yes, I should really be saying Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. We're not dispensing with that with our new remixed Good Morning Portugal show. However, this is the new format. We're still an hour long. We are an hour earlier. As you can see, we've just started after 8 o'clock in the morning. And good morning to you if you're watching the replay at 9 o'clock this morning. Good to see you, sleepyhead. Maybe you can join us live tomorrow morning, Tuesday. And for the first 20 minutes, we will be doing this very new, all new Bom Dia Daily, with a little bit of news, weather, language and culture, and a smattering of well-being, inspiration, and information. So familiar themes, but a little bit more organized for those of you who just want 20 minutes of bite-sized information to keep you abreast of what's going on here in Portugal from a Gumper perspective, from a Good Morning Portugal perspective, uplifting, positive and upbeat first thing in the morning. And so we'll start with a little bit of news. Let me just bring the right screen to share with you. How are you doing this morning? Just let me say a few quick hellos as well. Good morning to you, Deagle. Great to see you. To see you too, Mel. João Ernesto, hope you're feeling better. Bom Dia Portugal from João Ernesto up there. And we shall be returning to the north as well in just a moment to see how some people welcomed the new year in. Coach Turner in as well, noticing that it's a rejigged show and a new midday show as well. I meant to do a screenshot of the new reality TV homepage where me and Mrs. M will be at midday. We're actually, this is the first bit of big news. Close to home, me and Mrs. M are kicking off the first live transmission of new reality TV a little bit later on. Hey, Mrs. M, look who's here as well. Happy. How are we? New Year, everyone, as well there. Join us at midday if you'd like to join in on the fun and that historic moment. Whenever a radio station is launched, it's amazing to be the first broadcaster, I think, isn't it? Is it Tony Blackburn who was the first on Radio 1, maybe? I'm not sure. But what an honour and a privilege it is to kick off the first live show on new reality TV a little bit later on today. So that's the first bit of important news. Before we go to our first news story or stories with our particular take, and I'll give you a bit of the backstory on the angle for how I want to share the news with you. Let's have a look at how the new year was welcomed in the capital. Thank you very much to Lee McGrady for this. This is amazing. We're very elemental over here. This is fire and air, I suppose you might say. We'll come back to earth and water in just a moment.
I know, it's mental, isn't it? Wow. It's a good display this year.
Now, if you were thinking enough already with that minute, it was a short basically, that went on I think for about half an hour, according to Lee McGrady, whose review you could hear there. Mental, innit? Watching with little Eve. What an incredible way to welcome in the new year there in Lisbon. Up a little bit more a peaceful New Year's Day. Look at these crazy guys.
Yes! Yes! Happy New Year! I feel like I can sing in the soprano choir. Wait, again! We didn't take pictures again!
Amazing, eh? Nice Grundies there, Bob, in a nice magenta, I think. I think that was you. Bob up there in Pontalima, or nearby anyway, having a dip. Yeah, and as I was saying, very elemental. We had fire and air, didn't we, with the firework display? And there were a lot of fireworks. We had loads of fireworks here in San Martino de Porto. And there a little bit of water to welcome the day in, and it sounded really cold, didn't it? Right, now I've got my first issue here of share. I was up late last night till about 3 a.m, and I wanted to share a screen with you now, which I'm used to doing in Chrome. However, Chrome at about 3 this morning wouldn't let me, wouldn't allow me to use my camera or microphone. So I'm going to see if this will work now with Firefox. Oh, I see. That's quite nice. Maybe that will work if I do that right there, and then click across to. Oh, no, I've got the look. It's like looking at the mirrors inside an elevator, isn't it? That's not going to work. I'm going to have to find a different way of doing that for you, or just read to you the news, the angle on the news that I want to bring to you on these weekday mornings. Yes, Bob and Viv, a great dip, and a Bom Dia a todos as well, and a bit like the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Is that a review of the fireworks in Lisbon there, John? Mr. S also in this morning. A bit of Tony time too. Bon dia, happy Monday, and a great week ahead. Thank you very much for that. And Karen and Mike are back, and Kat. We had a great trip to Chicago for the holidays, but we are glad to be back home in Portugal. Here's toasting to a healthy and prosperous 2025. Tony time, man in the Minha. Yes, can you see? This is actually my kitchen. This is not one of those green screens. I'm broadcasting the breakfast show from my kitchen to yours. If you are anywhere near your kitchen, or certainly from my kitchen to wherever you happen to be. The breakfast show, what better room to do that from here in the kitchen of Casa Munson. Your voice soothes the news, Carl. Read away. Okay, well, I'm not going to do anything too controversial or anything that winds anybody up. We've got James to come at 20 past the hour, and Tig James joining us at 8:40 as well. Tig James MBE, glad you're back. Glad you got back. Those blizzards look pretty tricky to navigate to Mike and Karen. Good morning to you, Peter. Good to see you as well. Bom Dia ALEGRIA from you. Right, now let me see if I can share this screen one more time here. This is different, you see, because I am now using Firefox rather than Chrome, which I would be happy to use, but it wouldn't let me use it. Okay, so I've got share screen. Let me see if it will allow me to do this. Select window or screen. It doesn't seem to like that, which is a shame, really, because I'd love to be able to show you what I'm trying to show you right now. Select window or screen. Not now, it says. Always block. Not now. That's really weird. Is that your browser has blocked your screen? Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access. Well, that's a bit of a, basically a bit of a poo-poo, right, right there. You can look at this yourself, right? I'm not gonna let this stop me sharing with you my angle on the news and a bit of backstory about it. We've got well-being to come as well, and a bit of language and culture, so I better crack on. Now, this is from my most recent article in the Portugal Resident, and I when talking about the news, which is this is what I'm getting round to here, is the angle on the news. You can go and find out gloom and doom anywhere you like, basically, can't you, on every corner of the internet. And it's striking a balance here between remaining informed and interested in what's going on, where the news, the information is useful and informative, So I say here in the Portugal resident, the problem child for me is news and how to keep viewers abreast of global and domestic matters. Abreast, that got your attention, Pete. Without souring the milk they're about to pour in their morning coffee. I've got mine here. What I do most often and readily is talk about having a great life in Portugal, despite the inevitable challenges that no country or lifestyle is free of. And wherever the 20% of problems feels like 80% of our lives, we chip in with a virtual shoulder to cry on and a healthy dollop of practical suggestions in the comments. That's what I think that sums up Good Morning Portugal very nicely, right? A virtual shoulder to cry on if you need it, if things are getting difficult, and plenty, 20% shoulder and 80% practical solutions in the comments. If you've got any sort of difficulty, you let us know. And join us, of course, at Portugal Club on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 if you want to unpack anything and get a bit of help from the community. Anyway, how, as the life-loving, upbeat and positive morning show for people who love life in Portugal, do we grasp that news nettle without succumbing to the negativity or having anyone reaching for the off button? This quandary is made worse by my own recent case of mediapathy, where my interest in world events has reached torpor level. And it's still a bit like that, despite this being quite the spicy year, I think, that we've entered into. I still find it difficult to dig deep into world news. Some friends applauded this affliction, declaring their own long-standing disinterest or disengagement. That's you, James, and others. Another has accused me, you, Tony the Portugueser, of not being interested in the world and found my condition quite disturbing, even callous. Just tried the cough button on the new mixer there. I think that worked, didn't it? Whilst I'll take third and fourth opinions on my mass media malady, that still leaves me with a wish to inform and uplift of a morning, which I now realise in the rereading makes me sound like a Braille wonder bra. That's me wanting to inform and uplift. Whilst I suspect none of the den's dragons will be taking this idea to the next round, the Braille wonder bra that is, literary lingerie does give me another idea to add a little humour to the news agenda. Maybe I can share what's going on in the world like a feedback sandwich where the sometimes hard to digest cheese and ham of life's toshtamishta are wrapped both sides by a slice of melt in the mouth, doughy delight. In that spirit, let's see if this confected compromise has legs with some cheeky and chirpy reporting on some recent and real news that you may have missed or managed until now, of course, to avoid. So I've got some stories here as they are now known. Isn't it funny how the news is called stories? And I fall into that trap myself as much as I dislike it. First up is a very fresh and I imagine much welcome technological transition, which demands that all small and medium-sized devices, such as portable phones, headphone chargers and tablets sold in the European Union, will have to be equipped with a USB Type-C port. Hooray, applause. I think I've got some of those applause somewhere. No, that's the bleep. Yeah, there you go. Yes, people are happy about this. USB, universal. Yeah, all right. Universal Type-C port. In case you don't know which one this is, Grandad, it's the one wonder of wonders that can be inserted into the device any way up. Praise be, I hear you say, as someone who, like everyone, has struggled for years with the once miraculous USB Type-A that never went in first time, even if it was right side up. And I had this only yesterday while I was rejigging the studio here. Expect that to be something you will explain to perplexed grandchildren, thanks to directive. I've got a drum roll here somewhere as well. That's not it. That's not the drum roll. Okay, directive. What about this one? What about this one? No. And... oh, that's weird, isn't it?
And so is that. Luke, I am your father.
Okay. Directive 2022. Don't, buttons are not toys, Carl. And Directive 2022-2380, known colloquially as the common charging solution to reduce e-waste and solve market fragmentation. USB, by the way, stands for Universal Serial Bus, and not utterly stupid thing that many of us have uttered when struggling to insert them. A bit like a trainee vet at a dairy farm. Right, I better move on because I've got a couple of things I want to include before James joins us. But there is also the Tupperware story, which is extended to Trumpaware, basically. Things that turn from things that turn from white to orange. I ruined that, didn't I? Trumpaware. And also the new US ambassador. Read more about that over on the homepage there. Right, okay, next up then with language and culture. And I hopefully will be able to get this onto the screen. But this is my Sopa de Pedra story. Now, this is fantastic. This is my wonderful neighbours, Ian and Elena. Elena's mum, Aida, sent me the shushu's, and as you may remember, the shushu's that scattered soil onto the keyboard when I was sharing the good news of being given some shushu's, and just give me a massive avocado somewhere here. I would say it's nearly as big as my head, but nothing is quite as big as my head. I will hold it up next to a euro coin in the coming days. But she's been sending me these lovely things. She's delighted to be featured on YouTube, and so decided to send me it's not a comfort package, but a hospitality package, a Portuguese bag of goodness and kindness. Let me just bring this onto the stage here and talk you through it, because when we tried to record it yesterday, unfortunately the sound didn't work. So let me see if I can, here we go. If you look at the pictures there, you'll see we've got the bag that's come from Aida, and it's from O Forno, which is in Almarin. This is a lot of, there's some language and there's some cultural information here. The first out of the bag there is that box of cogido meats. This isn't streaming very well, is it? There we go. I'm having a sniff of the meat there, so to speak. Let's see. It's a bit laggy at my end. I don't know how it's playing for you. And there's a surprised look on my face. Look, and there's the first chorizo. And I think we've got more chorizos to come. This is the second chorizo, had Mrs. M giggling a little bit. Oh, no, that's not the second one, the third one, I think. So there you go. We had a black sausage, first of all. And then we've got the more conventional. And then this one, which had Mrs. M really giggling in the corner of the room as she was trying to record me. She got the video. Unfortunately, we didn't get the sound. And look, the pièce de résistance that came out of that bag from O Forno in Almarin is the magnificent Sopa de Pedra, which you're about to see in just a minute when the laggy video. There we go. Look at this. And yeah, that's a whole big bucket there of Sopa de Pedra, which is probably, I need to tell you that story. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow as the continued adventures of Sopa de Pedra tomorrow, which I won't give the game away. What is Sopa de Pedra? Sopa, very important, of course, here in Portugal, if we're talking about language and culture. Pedra, what ingredient is that soup made out of? I'm going to get rid of that because that's not streaming very well. But suffice to say, you saw that big bucket of Sopa de Pedra. The family loved it yesterday, tucked in, and that's the evidence. So thank you, Aida. You are so lovely and kind, and thank you very much for all that wonderful food that you sent for us to try. Much appreciated. And I said I'd try it on Monday morning, but she said, oh, no, it won't last until then. James coming up in a couple of minutes. So between now and then, I went on a little bit too long about the news, and I haven't even done the weather yet, so I'll come back to the weather, maybe do the weather at the end of the show. Who cares? James doesn't. But let's go into this message from the coach, shall we, as the first of our smatterings of well-being, information and inspiration, and we'll talk to James after.
Well, all our gumpers, and a happy new year to you all. If you're anything like me, you've been a bit out of sorts over the last couple of weeks. Well, certainly out of a routine, and I have done almost no exercise at all in the last 2 weeks, or since I guess the weekend before Christmas. So I'm feeling firstly rather unfit, secondly a bit lardy, not surprising over Christmas. And I've noticed that my muscle tone has sort of degraded, even in just that short period of time. So need to get back on it. I'm out for a short walk, gentle, not too quick, just to start the process of getting back into a routine. And I think that probably applies to a lot of us. So see if you can get out. Walking is the best exercise to get back into some sort of vague fitness routine. As you can see, it's all a bit frosty around here at the moment, and I think we've got quite a few days of this before it begins to get slightly warmer again. But see if you can do a couple of 10-15 minute walks every day. Find an excuse, go get the paper, get the bread, or like me, go for a coffee. So I'm heading for a coffee right now. I need to get kick-started in the morning. Hope you're all well. Hope you've had a great festive break, and we're looking forward to a vibrant and changing, according to Mr. Munson, 2025. Hope you have a great one. Cheers.
Okay, let's talk to James, shall we? But not until we play this. Let's see if this button does the right thing. Oh,
Bom
yes.
dia, Feliz Ano Novo.
Feliz Ano Novo. Look, listen to that crowd cheering for you there, James. Yeah, Feliz Ano Novo. Bom dia, tudo bem, my friend?
Tudo obrigado. E tu? And I'm hearing an echo.
You are hearing an echo, or you're not?
I am.
I think that might be just the voices in your head, there, James. Oh.
Now, I know the difference.
Yeah, you do. I'm not getting anything. Let's see what everybody else has to say about that. But is it unbearable? Have you got another tab open, perhaps?
No, I shut off my other browser. I'm on a completely different browser.
There is actually an echo. Oh, how annoying is that? And I've no idea myself where that's coming from.
I think there's enough of my voice without hearing it twice.
Yeah, I see a big echo. Oh, all right. Let me just go into the settings in the background there. If you could do some, maybe a little bit of, I think that button might.
Ooh, something changed in my audio.
Something changed in my audio, and is that any better?
And I'm not hearing an echo.
Well, how about that? Please continue to take one of these after every meal, James.
I hope it controls gas as well.
I'm afraid I can't guarantee that. Is that a bit of a problem at the moment?
No.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Okay, all right. So
I just figured, as many remedies in one solution as possible is great.
The teething troubles of a new studio. I am actually in my kitchen. It's not a green screen. It's not one of those fake backdrops. This is authenticity. This is vulnerability. This is the heart of the home. You can see there are eggs on the counter waiting to be made into omelettes. There are boxes of wine. There are bottles of wine, and there's a bottle of Beryl. Seems the alcohol is rather overrepresented. Anyway, enough of my problems. How are you doing, James? How was your Christmas, and how's your New Year celebration?
Delightful. More eventful than I was used to in the United States, because I don't celebrate, birthdays and holidays all that much. It's just, it's pleasant. I enjoy it. I like seeing the decorations and so on, but I haven't made it a practice of making a big deal out of these things. So being in a culture that makes a really big deal, especially out of Christmas,
oh yeah,
of fireworks every night for a week, just, it's a bit much for me, but I'm not required to participate in every activity, so I choose. And Louisa was laughing yesterday because she was asking me if I wanted to go out today, and I said, no, I don't think so. I said, I've been out out or doing something almost every day this week, and it's too much. And she just giggled. She just thought that was adorable.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Poor tired out guy. Had one thing to do every day. I think he would say, get a job. So I said, I had one for a long time.
Yeah, well, good for you. Good for you. And yes, knowing when to stop when you need to. In fact, that reminds me, in terms of our well-being information and inspiration, you might approve of this particular message here that flashed. A lot of these, actually, I guess it's the time of year. This one I thought was great. Say goodbye to urgency culture. I think you have, James, to be fair. You don't have to reply to that message now. Your email can wait. You don't have to live with anxiety because of the weird expectations of others. Let yourself be human instead of forcing yourself to be a machine. Your heart, nervous system, and adrenal glands will thank you. What do you make of that, mate?
I love it. And I have one to add, which might really frighten some folks.
Okay, go on.
Put your phone on silent. You're not obligated to answer it just because it rings.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a little while now.
Yeah. And I have some people that, man, you're really hard to get a hold of. I say, yeah, well, I turn my phone off from time to time. So.
Yeah, you've got me now. What do you want?
Yes.
Brilliant. Now, there was another meme.
Think about taking control of your life. All those things are externals that demand your time and your focus and your energy and your attention. It's like, just shut them off.
Yeah.
None of it is going to harm. Not knowing any of it is not going to harm you for 24 hours.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Take a breather.
I mean,
really take a moment to be here.
Yeah, the perceived danger is a little bit overrated, isn't it?
When we carry it as chronic trauma. I mean, we carry it in our body like trauma. I mean, this is happening, and oh my God, they're bombing the world, and oh, what's going to happen to me? But it's unconscious, and can be subtle, but it's trauma nonetheless, and it becomes chronic every single day. That's why I'm such an advocate of just turning off the news, because usually it's not good news. I did find one thing on Facebook that's, the daily good news thing, and people will call it fluff, but it's all true stuff. It's just true stuff about fun things and nice things and pleasant things and things people are doing to help each other. And like, okay, I can manage that kind of news every day. But
it's
the rest,
fluff in the belly button of the world, perhaps. Yeah, how lovely. So, maybe we can get a link from you for that. So that's your gesture towards staying in touch with the bigger picture, is it?
Well, that particular piece is not the bigger picture. It's just usually local stories about, the cat that's taken over the train station and is being honored by the people that live there, and how it's attracted more business just because a cat is there now and been made something, that kind of thing. It's not like what's going on in the planet worldwide, because that rarely is good news. I mean, the best news I've seen, and see, I don't look for the news, I still get it. So you don't have to go look for it. Is that, there's apparently a big movement in Europe on expanding. I mean, there has been, but make progress being made on rail that connects different countries and can get people places faster and begin to compete with airline prices, those kinds of things. Okay, that's good news. Yeah. Good to know. And, that's all like 30 years down the road. They're working on it and they're making progress with it, but it's not a short-term project. So
that's a nice key phrase, good to know. That's quite a good check for any information, isn't it? Is that good to know, or is it stressful and traumatic, as you were alluding to earlier on?
Yeah, and how does it impact my life, knowing that? If it makes me afraid, then I should not really pay attention to it, especially when there's nothing I can do about it. That's the main thing. What do I control? Which is basically nothing when it comes to world events. So if I'm going to choose world events to look at that I have no control over, why choose the ones that are going to make me feel bad or make me feel afraid or make me feel angry or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Like, I can't do anything about any of it. So let's stay on the positive. There's plenty of positive stuff that's just as real, if not more real, than some of the negative stuff we're hearing.
No question about that. Yeah, absolutely. And as they say in the news world, if it bleeds, it leads. And good news, bad news has traveled around the world twice, I think, at least. Well, good news is still doing up its shoelaces. It's worth remembering.
And good news fails. People have tried it, and people don't. The general public doesn't watch it enough to get the supporting money for it, unless it's public money. PBS does pretty well with good, interesting, stories as public broadcasting system in the U.S. Anyway, that's donation, right? So it's not dependent on advertising. Advertising wants huge audiences, and huge audiences don't seem to watch good news.
No, it's funny, isn't it? Maybe there could be a change in the air. We'll see. Good morning to you, Owen. Good morning to you, Kat, as well. Catherine Whitby is here. I love your artwork. The card that you sent me before Christmas, I didn't realize it was your own work. It's absolutely beautiful. Brilliant. Bom Dia ALEGRIA from Figueira dos Vinhos and Country Bear, PT Country Bear Marcus, I think also. And yes, good morning to you, PT Country Bear Gemini. Good morning to you as well. And anyone else who I've missed, forgive me. Or if you didn't hear me mentioning your name earlier on, it's great to have you here. Deagle as well, asking if today is a public holiday. Good morning, everyone, says Nuno Mensch. Today it's time to eat bolore to celebrate the day when the three kings visited Jesus after he was born. It's 12th night. It is the King's Day here in Portugal. I don't think it's necessarily a holiday. In Spain, this is the big day when everyone changes gifts. Instead of the 24th or 25th, Santa Claus visit, on the Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. In Spain, it's today, the 6th of January. It's my daughter Ruby's birthday as well, so happy birthday. Many happy returns to you, Ruby, as well. Right, James, I hope to have a little surprise for you. But you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. One thing that you've...
The only reason I showed up this morning, Carl. I'll see you.
Yeah, that's right. That's bad news
for both of us.
You've got a fantastic phrase, which I think might be the 2025 equivalent. I'll get used to saying it. We've got a whole year to get used to that. That we might replace mindful migration, and it's really apt, I think, for the times we're living in this particular year. And you're calling it actively living in the wheel C. Is that right?
Yep.
And I love that. Tell us a bit more about that, if you will.
Well, it just popped up because I was having a conversation with someone, and they were talking about all these changes and how horrible this is going to be and how great that was going to be. And did you hear about this? Which is not my lifestyle. And it just popped up. I said, well, I've consciously decided just actively live in the wheel C.
Yeah.
And what I realize is that is the answer to everything. Everything that comes at me, I can just say that and it shuts it down without being rude. So far it's worked 100%. They go, oh my God, did you see that thing on Trump? It's like, well, I'm just actively living in the wheel C. Yeah. Shrug my shoulders and conversation's over.
Well, whichever side of the political fence, it's useful, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's apolitical and very wise to be living in the wheel C rather than getting too attached to any particular outcome, as we have learned by now as human beings, right?
It's very universal, and I think it may have come through my gradual evolution being here in Portugal, which is all about wheel C.
Yeah,
it's not said as much, but it's in use nearly as much as depend.
It is. That's right. It is.
We'll see.
It's a form of depends, isn't it? We'll see. Yeah. Absolutely.
We don't know, and that's the truth. The truth is, the ultimate universal truth is we don't know. So we will see. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be something completely different and unexpected. We don't know. So we'll see. And that works for me.
We will indeed. Fantastic. Right. Tig James to join us. So actually, that's what we'll be doing rather than mindful migration, although we'll be doing that anyway. That's what James does. That's how he lives. We'll be continuing with the theme and rebranding it as actively living in the wheel. See, João Ernesto, on the subject of well-being, I reluctantly broach a personal confession of my struggles with a condition known as trigeminal neuropathy. It has been particularly difficult this past week. Sorry to hear that, João Ernesto. I don't know if anyone else is struggling with that in our community or knows anybody who is. Sorry to hear about that, João Ernesto. I don't know how we can help, but if we can, we will with that. And thank you for sharing that. It may help just a tiny little bit, mightn't it, to let other people know what's going on for you. So thank you for that.
What's the saying? A burden shared is a burden halved, or something
Absolutely.
like that.
We'll see if that's of any help whatsoever. But thanks for sharing, and who knows what might happen with that bit of information there, João Ernesto. And all the best with it as well. Take care. Bom dia todos from the Squire of the Shires. And that surprise for you, James. We've got another guest to bring onto the screen for you. Did you bring your hemp trainers with you this morning? Are you wearing them?
They're not on. They're in my.
They're in the house. You're a big fan, aren't you? I think of the hemp trainers and hemp in general. Let's bring onto the screen, shall we? The CEO of 8,000 Kicks, Bernardo.
Oh, nice.
Olá, bom dia.
Hello, guys.
Bom dia.
How's everyone doing?
It is so good.
Hey, James.
Hola.
I mean, I was just emailing. It's sorry, I'm in the car actually. But I kind of was inviting me to join and make you a quick surprise, and I was like super excited about the idea. I just want to thank you for. Just wanted to.
He's in the car. He just wanted to.
What did he want to? What?
Our project.
Oh, here he is. He's back now. We lost you for a moment there, Bernardo, but I think we got the gist that you're happy to be here. We're happy certainly to have you, and we'd love to have you back for a longer session to find out more about the company. But I've got my hemp wallet here with my card, right, and my ID on the other side. I love the 8,000 Kicks wallet. We're doing a 10% off deal for Gumpers if you go to our website. We're delighted. And James, what do you want to say about the trainers? Bernardo, I mean, this comes from the imagination of Bernardo and friends, I think, and your grandmother, and your grandmother as well, right, Bernardo? She's involved in the company.
Yeah, I'm actually just on the way to her house. We're gonna pick her for an important meeting, but she doesn't speak very good English. I'm still teaching her. But yeah, it all started with me and some friends, at least the idea. But it was my grandmother who brought it all to life because she has over 50 years experience in textiles.
Wow.
So she was the magic behind the curtains. And now she's the magic also after the... she's also the magic part of the company. Everyone loves her.
I see her on the Facebook ads, yes.
Yeah, she's quite funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. She is a great asset to your company, isn't she? She's part of your special sauce. I think she's a secret ingredient. She's got the X factor. But it's a great idea anyway, isn't it? Is it true the origin story that you were up late one evening with friends, and you were thinking about creating a shoe you could smoke? It didn't quite get to that, but we get the gist. And now here they are on people's feet.
Yeah, it was a little piece of serendipity, you know. It was like I can even congratulate myself on that because it was not even my idea. It was my friend's idea. This is when I moved out of London, and I was in Portugal trying to find an idea, and he came up with, "Hey Bernardo, why don't you do a shoe for smoking?" And we were like, "Ha ha ha! Such a stupid idea."
Now look, we have these. This is the one that
the result of partaking in hemp's cousin.
Yeah.
We cannot confirm or deny this, but
that's exactly the shoe I own, by the way.
Yeah.
You own a full black?
Yes.
You've got 2 happy customers here of your products, and we've got Tig James joining us in just a moment. So what I'll do is say thank you very much, Bernardo. Thank you for the surprise. For jumping.
Thank you for the invitation. It was
thank you for
fun.
the product. Thank you for the product, for the idea. It's something I have hoped for years, is that people start making use of hemp in practical ways, like it used to be a long time ago before everyone got all paranoid about it. So thank you for
appreciate the support,
real.
man.
Yes,
appreciate the support, because without you we wouldn't be here either. So
Nice.
thank you for that. And
Well,
I will relate that to my grandmother. She'll be very
please
happy
do,
to.
yes, please do.
Please do
I
that.
just
Will you
take a print screen of this meeting.
please say hola? Can we wave to your grandma? James, give us.
She's not here yet. She's
But if-
preparing.
Do you want to do the
For a screenshot.
All right, screenshot done.
Okay, brilliant. And we'll send that to Grandma, to Arbor, and we'll have you back another time. So, James, I think that's a great idea, isn't it, to get Bernardo back and we'll have a longer discussion
Oh,
about
I'd love it. Yeah, I'd love it.
8,000 kicks. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. That flew by, didn't it, James? The new 20
It
minutes.
sure did.
segment. It's leaving us wanting more. Cheers, Bernardo. Take care, mate. Have a great day.
Take care. Bye
Thank you
bye.
very much. Bye for now. There he goes. We'll have him back. A lovely surprise there. And James, Oh, the applause just won't stop, James, for
Just
you.
carries on.
Yeah, it does.
It's
It does.
anticipation.
All right, calm down, everybody. There you go. Right. They're in my cupboards behind me here. James, thank you very much. We'll see you
My
again.
pleasure always. Yes.
Okay. All right. Here, have some more of this. See you later, mate. Adulation. Right, and let's bring Tig James MBE onto the screen as well with some of that rowdy applause. Here, have some of this, Tig.
Thank you.
Calm down, you lot. Honestly, off with their heads. Right. Tig, how are you? Happy New Year. Hope you had a great Christmas. How are you doing? Tudo bem?
All right. Yeah, it's all right. Bit cloudy down here and dank and dull, but apart from that, it's
Well, luckily, I wasn't able to share the weather screen with everybody this morning because it's not brilliant, is it? I mean, we've on my 5-day count of my scientific project starting on the 1st of January to measure the 300 days of sunshine. We've got 3 of sunshine and 2 of cloudiness and rain. I went out with the dogs last night, got absolutely drenched. It was awful, and I think we're in for a bit of that, aren't we? For a few days now. But anyway.
so.
We're safe inside, and here we are. Thanking you for coming back for another year on from the Brexit situation and understanding what happens for British people here in Portugal. Although, as I've put in the sleeve notes for the show, a lot of the information you share is universally enjoyed and found useful as well by people of other nationalities as well, because I think that happens, doesn't it? You tend to talk about other aspects of coming into Portugal as well, which is useful to other people.
I think because there's so many generalities, because we're now no longer, UK nationals are now no longer EU citizens. Of course, it applies to so many other people outside the EU. So yeah, and of course, we've had so many more North Americans come to Portugal. A lot of it does apply to them as well. And I quite often get queries from other people as well, other nationalities. And of course, it applies. So yeah.
All right. And the big news that we will take questions, of course, which you often get questions in the chat as well. So pop them there if you've got any questions for Tig, specifically or mainly for Brits in Portugal, but other aspects of migration, as you said there, North Americans may have questions as well. But there's a big bit of news, isn't there, for the Brits as well? That something that was, am I right in saying it was overlooked and can be put right now or should be put right now?
Don't know.
This is not, the big news for the Brits about the permanent residency.
No, you've lost me.
Oh, it was the piece of news that was on your Facebook group. I think it may be lost in the mists of Christmas. Of course, let me go back to the page there, which of course because I've changed my browser now, I can't sign into. But will you give us an update of the most useful facts that are coming out for post-Brexit Brits at the moment, or the questions you're being most asked, Tig?
Well, what we've got is it's 2025 now. So we had, people had to get to Portugal pre January 2021. So we had lots of people coming in 2020. So that means that, they got EU residency in 2020. So, of course, that now means that in 2025, they will have 5-year residency. But when they got their withdrawal agreement biometric cards, which they, obviously their EU residency was swapped for, when they got those, there was a date on there. which was 5 years from the appointment to when it needed to be renewed. So of course it's not actually 5 years residency. It's actually, they've got longer than that because they were here before they got their withdrawal agreement biometric card. Now then, the difficulty is that when you have, that's a temporary residency, it's called, there's nothing temporary about it, it's just the name, okay? The first 5 years, temporary residency, if you're an EU citizen or under the withdrawal agreement, okay? Now then, once you get to 5 years, you can get what's called permanent residency. Now, under the withdrawal agreement, you can then get more rights. You can actually leave your EU member state where you're resident for up to 5 years and still come back and have residency. So it's a big right. You can leave. I mean, if your parents are ill or any sort of thing happens where you have to leave, you know, Portugal, you can come back and don't have to apply. You've still got EU, you've still got residency under the withdrawal agreement. But how do you prove it if you've only got a temporary card? You may get a temporary card and have been resident for 7 years, but you still can't prove that you've been resident for 5, more than 5. Are you still with me?
Okay. Yeah. Just.
Okay, I know. Yeah. So obviously, it's going to be better if people can apply as soon as they've got 5 years residency from their EU residency date, not the withdrawal agreement biometric card, their EU resident, if they can get their permanent card. So if they do need to leave the country for longer than 6 months, they can prove that they have residency rights when they come back with the permanent card.
Okay.
So they really need to do that. How you get an appointment with IMA, that's a completely different story, isn't it? Completely different story. Which brings me on to
that was the news, the permanent card, and getting that was the thing. Yeah.
That's what you meant, was it? Okay.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. The other thing is that IMA have now opened a helpline specifically for people under the withdrawal agreement, UK nationals under the withdrawal agreement. And I think you've got the phone number there, haven't you?
I do. And if I'm because of the browser I'm using, I had to change to at the last minute.
Okay.
Cutting and pasting is a little bit difficult, but I'll make sure I will get it to people, if not live on the show this morning. We'll make sure people have got that. But it's the 214-236-709 number, isn't it? Portuguese number. From 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. Interesting time.
Right. They are answering it, which is another major miracle, but they are actually answering it. So it is being manned. However, the feedback I'm getting, of course, okay. I mean, what do people want mostly from a helpline with IMA? They want an appointment.
Yes.
This helpline won't give you an appointment.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know, we've got people that still haven't got cards for family reunification under withdrawal agreement. They still haven't got their withdrawal agreement biometric card. And of course, what do you need to get one? Appointment.
An appointment.
So this is something I'm going to go back and I'm going to see if I can sort out because I know that they do forward you on. So that may, you know, some people have got redirected. So maybe it is still worth ringing.
Okay. So what are they helping people with if not to get appointments? Just sort of general information about what people should do if they can get an appointment.
I don't know. Exactly.
Okay. All right. But it's a start. That's what I'm hearing.
That's what for me. It's a huge thing. It's huge. Yeah. It's there. We've got it. At last, we've got it. So yes, we've got something
in the right direction.
It's in the right direction. I think it's something that what they've probably done is they've put somebody on the end of a phone line and they probably, you know, as with lots of the things with the withdrawal agreement, they didn't train the staff. So, but if these people, which is what has happened, have tried to redirect some people to another department to maybe get a point, I don't know. But at least it's a start, and at least we can then try and hone it as to what it actually needs to be by giving feedback, which I will be doing, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
The other thing is, of course, is that you've got you've still got the Brexit email address, which is brexit@ima.gov.pt, that you can still use. Again, you just have to keep writing and writing and writing a bit
Right.
to
Okay.
find a response. So yeah. Oh, well
All
done.
right. I've managed to do it now, Tig. Look, new
Okay.
telephone number for UK nationals. They probably won't take inquiries, because what happens as soon as a telephone number like this gets published, other people with other issues with IMA think, I know, I'll ring this number because it's the only one I can get through on. It's worth a try. This is specifically for withdrawal agreement post-Brexit Brits, is it?
It's absolutely, that is it.
Yeah.
You won't get any, I mean, even those guys, they're not getting very far. So if you've got another issue, you're going to get nowhere. You know, please do not ring that if you're not a Brit and not under the withdrawal agreement. You won't get anywhere and you'll just annoy them.
Yes. Okay. You don't want to be doing that.
Please don't do that. Not now. Please don't do that now we've got this. Please don't.
Yeah, all the people I've ever spoken to who have anything to do with this on the front line have been great to speak to. And given that this is a very technical thing, it's great that you're able to speak in English to somebody at the other end of a phone or face to face, should you manage to get an appointment, who's dealing with this particular area of migration into Portugal from the post-Brexit Brits. So I give my thanks to them, recognizing they're still under a lot of pressure. And it's not them, it's the higher ups that are causing the difficulties and blockages with the process. Right. Anything else to share with us? That phone number's great. 214-236-709 for post-Brexit Brits. Still, the appointments are what we're looking for, though, right?
Yeah, I think, and it's like I say, I will be following all of this up and, you know, giving feedback. I mean, I'm pretty sure people are already aware, even though this phone line has literally, I think it was the 2nd or the 3rd of January was open. So it's literally only been open days. I think they're already aware, but I mean, it doesn't hurt for me to chase it up and put it in writing as well, that, you know, that it's not going quite as well as maybe they hoped. The other thing is when you're going back to what you were saying, it's the higher ups in IMA that are sort of blocking things. I don't even know if it's that, to be honest. I think it's just, they just haven't got funding for staff.
Yeah, they know what they want to do. They just haven't got the resources to join the dots.
And that has always been the case. That was always the issues with SEF. It was never, ever, I don't think, people deliberately, you know, sort of not helping, but they just couldn't. I mean, I've actually worked in a situation like that where I sat down with my boss one day and it was just a case of everybody was completely overworked. He just hadn't got the staff. What do you do?
Yeah, you have to deal with the I've got a squeaky chair, and it's the squeaky thing that gets the oil first, isn't it? To use that in this very moment, right?
Well,
okay.
I'll be the squeaky thing. I tell you, I've been a squeaky thing for many years.
Is that what they call you?
No, but it's the same analogy, isn't it? It's just like, please just shut her up. Yes. You know, they might just squirt their version of WD-40 on me, don't they? You know.
But they do expect a call from you, do they? Or do they call you now? Are you being consulted at all yet?
I think I mean, I do a lot of my stuff with the embassy. So, you know, what I find on the ground, I can pass forward and I put in writing, and obviously the EU Commission and stuff as well. I do it to them. This, you know, okay, this is great. This has happened. However, you know, because I mean, what has happened is that obviously the EU Commission go back to Portugal, the government, and say, you know, this has been said, and they come back with lovely words. And then I decipher the words for them as to actually what it means.
Okay. All right.
You know,
good.
the usual politics of, well, yeah, we've done this, like the phone line, for instance. Oh, yeah, we've provided a phone line, which sounds great. It doesn't do anything, but we've provided a phone line.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it makes sense, doesn't it, that the representations are made at that level. Otherwise, they'd have to listen to everybody and not know who was who. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that you feed that up to the ambassador or the ambassadorial team, and that gets passed across in the metaphorical diplomatic bag.
Yeah, we get round it in different ways. You just have to it's like you say, getting it at the right level. If we weren't at that level, certainly at the EU Commission, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, keep up the good work. Another
Yeah.
year, and more to do. It goes on, doesn't it? It's the gift that keeps on giving, Tig. Antonio
Yes.
F is here. Bon dia, bon anno. To us, a todos, and to you as well, Antonio. Thank you so much for everything you do for this community. And before you go, Tig, there is the wider question, and this often comes up, doesn't it, when you're here? They're saying that the ETIAS will be required from Portuguese residents as well. Is this one of those terrible rumours? Is that true? I'm from the US but hold a residency permit. It's designed specifically for people who aren't residents, isn't it? The ETIAS system for Schengen.
Yeah, anybody that comes in, that will be coming into the EU, who aren't a resident in the EU, will need an ETIAS. Yes, there you go. So no, absolutely not. You will not need an ETIAS if you're a Portuguese resident. No.
I just was taking a sip of coffee. Thanks for filling in for me there. And they must have had too much cheirinho in their morning coffee. I don't know if that's aimed at Ima. Yes, putting the aim in Ima there, or some other conversational thread that was going on in the chat there. So I think that's everything on our list, isn't it? Ticked off. We've got sorry, go on. Yeah, carry on.
Going back to what you were saying, sort of, and it sort of vaguely is attached to the ETIAS. I mean, people that are actually resident in the EU, it doesn't matter where you're resident. Okay, if you are not an EU citizen, say you're resident in Spain, you're officially resident there, that does not give you freedom of movement around the EU. If you're not an EU citizen, for Americans, Canadians, Japanese, Australians, Brits, whatever. If you're not an EU citizen, you cannot then just up out of Spain and move to Portugal and be a resident there. Your resident permit, document, whatever it is, only covers you for Spain. You have to then start the process all over again in the next country that you want to go to.
Yeah.
So, this is something that is coming up more and more and more, that people seem to think that they can live anywhere in the EU if they're a resident, say, in Portugal. No.
Nice try. And it's a lovely idea, isn't it? But it's not actually correct until you become a citizen.
No. And I mean, when you think there's 1.5 million UK nationals in the EU that now no longer have freedom of movement.
Yes.
And that was their businesses and everything as well. So you can imagine the impact.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Do you think the EU, with their ability to universalize things like the USB-C charger, which is a pretty good move on their part, I think, do you think we're ever going to get to a point where we have a common agreement on permanent residency, temporary residency, citizenship, naturalization, and all these things that continue to confuse people? Or is it just not possible?
Then you're going along the bounds of sovereignty, aren't you? You're taking away from each country how they deal with.
I just mean the terms. I don't mean to make all the terms and T's and C's the same, but the language itself is so confusing, isn't it? Because you said it yourself earlier on, when people talk about permanent residency or temporary residency, there is a confusion even with just that pairing, isn't there?
And the thing is those are generic terms across the EU.
How are they? So they're universally misunderstood.
Yeah, because if you're an EU citizen, you come and you get 5-year residency usually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't prove income, then often they won't give you 5 years. They'll give you 6 months, a year, 2 years. But if you're an EU citizen, you can just usually walk in, as we used to do, into a camera and get your first residency, which is called a temporary residence. But it isn't temporary. It's just the name. But that is, across the EU, is what it's called.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, that makes a lot of sense, Tig. As Brexit showed, sovereignty is a thorny issue that the general public doesn't understand. Maybe that's where we should leave it this morning. Tig, thank you so much. We'll see you again next month, unless there's anything else you want to add before you depart this morning.
The Brexit portal, again for UK nationals who got here before January 21, apparently is still down. It has been down for months.
Right. Okay.
Right, so.
It's a staffing issue then, I'm guessing. Someone needs to walk across and plug that server back in, don't they, on the other side of the office there, or whatever.
Or somebody needs to chuck a few €1,000 at it is probably more likely, isn't it?
Right.
You know,
so if people are feeling the pressure and weight of that themselves, it's not them, it is the website which is still not working properly.
Yeah, and of course it's for people that still haven't applied for their withdrawal agreement biometric card, need to go through the portal, but they can't, and it's been down for months.
So if they've got that down as a New Year's resolution, this year I will get round to it, they are still struggling when it comes to accessing the website.
Maybe again, you see, that could be, you know, if people do need to go through the Brexit portal, then maybe they need to use that phone number. As I say, it's only been going a few days. I don't know yet. I'm
All
not,
right.
you know.
So let's put it back on the screen. Yes, Jackie. Yeah. It is an 8 a.m. start every day now. Starting this morning, we have our new times and slightly remixed schedule, which I think has worked pretty well, notwithstanding some of my own technical difficulties. But maybe I can help Ima, given that I've done so well this morning patching technology together behind the scenes. Maybe they can give me a call. Maybe I'll ring them up myself and ask them if they want some help from me on this number. So there it is again on the screen. Tig, thank you so much. We'll see you again next month. Take care and stay warm and out of the rain there in the Algarve at the moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Muito obrigado. Buon novo. See you soon. Ciao, ciao. Bye, everybody. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning or at midday today when me and Mrs. M kick off New Reality TV, the very first live stream over there at midday our time. If you want to join us. And lots of love to you, João Ernesto, hearing of your challenge this morning. We'll speak again soon, and if not tomorrow morning, we'll catch up again on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday morning. Putting the sex into sexta-feira this Friday, every weekday morning. The all-new Good Morning Portugal show, starting with the Bom Dia Daily, and hopefully I can share a screen tomorrow. Take care.
Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.